Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, it's a new year, so it's time for a new you. We're going to learn how to have a breakthrough with the great Michelle Halverson next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
All right, so it's a new year, and during the new year, we all make these resolutions, and famously, we all break them within 2 or 3 weeks because we don't know how to have a true breakthrough. That's why I invited my next guest, a good friend, Michelle Halverson, is on the show. She's an author, speaker, strategist, publisher. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you, Jeff.
Awesome. Well, you've written many books, and you're a publisher, and so you've published countless books. Mm-hmm. Tell us about Breakthrough, because this just came out.
Well, and I talk about breakthrough, winning your battles with grit and grace. And I think that's important because here's the thing. Most people don't realize that we're in a war every day. I mean, it's a spiritual war. When the Lord talks about in his word about that the devil goes around like a roaring lion seeking him he may devour. I think most people think of the devil as like that little thing on your shoulder, this little character who's like trying to get you to sin. It's way more strategic than that. And so, people, what I find and what breaks my heart so many times when I meet people is they get stuck. They're going through life and something major happens. And I've had some major things happen to me, which is why I was able to, which is one of the reasons I wrote this book, because there's so many people who do not have the capacity or the endurance to fight, to say, you know what, I don't care what happens, I'm going to get through this. I've coached business people who have said, I don't care what happens, if you really believe you're supposed to do this, and until you're standing in your driveway with just your keys, you just keep pushing through. Yes. Most of the people I've met in business and leadership are not people who are extremely intelligent. They're people who say, I'm going to endure, I'm going to fight, I'm going to keep moving through these battles with that grit and grace that it takes, and so, that's why I wrote Breakthrough.
Okay, I want
to help people.
I'm going to pull up your website because you do so many things. We talked about author, strategist, speaker, publisher. As we scrolled on your website, you lead a group of women. Talk about that piece, because I think that's so important.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it's just, again, I'm in a place in my life where everything's very intentional. It's like, I feel like if I look back at my 20-year-old self, my 25-year-old self, even my 30-year-old self, and go, man, if I would have had mentors, if I would have had leaders in my life who would have said, just been honest with me and said, if you just, these are the things you got to look out for. These are the trappings. These are the things you want to, use to your advantage to press through. I didn't have that big sister, a mentor, or I had to learn everything myself. It was all trial and error. And so, they say it takes a few businesses before you actually become successful. I think the reason why is because you don't have anybody saying, here's some of the things you need to look at. Here's some of the things you need to be careful of. Here's some of the things. Don't let fear keep you from moving forward. Don't let the voices around you keep you from moving forward. I always say, who's sitting at your table is so important because those voices are important. So that's really why I started Shine Like a Boss, which stands for Building Others, Sowing, Serving, was for that very reason. And so, that's my heart. I feel like She Leads Texas. I'm also the state director for, and we have over 200 women in that. And again, I'm working with my chapter directors and pouring into them and encouraging them, and they're pouring down from there into those women that are coming to their chapters. And to me, it's just contagious. I think, one of the things I get a lot of women say to me is, how do you bring these women together who are not about competition, but about collaboration, who are not about ego, but about being humble and serving one another? And it's because I'm really intentional about the people who are sitting at my table. And I think that's important. It's important for breakthrough to have the right people around you.
I want to pull up your book cover and put it full screen. You're wearing camo.
I am.
Deliberately.
I'm wearing it today, yeah.
You're wearing it today. It's
Yeah.
a great brand. Tell us what camo represents.
Well, I mean, you think of the army of the Lord, right? I mean, you think of, and that's the thing is, it's really got to be that mindset. When you think about moving through a battle that's in your life, or, just everyday life, I always say it's like, there's these, you're a target every day for something. You wake up and something's coming at you, whether it's on social media or whether it's a person that calls you and says, this is what's happening and I need your help, or somebody that's trying to target you and trying to hurt you. I mean, really, literally, we're dealing with things every day. And how we deal with those things mentally and spiritually is so important. So the battle is mine, says the Lord, right? And so we have to get up. We have to, put on our full armor of God. And so it's really coming into that mindset of saying, okay, what does that look like every single day? And so some of those things are start your day with the word of truth, which is the Bible. Get that word out. The Bible, most people, again, it's all an understanding of what the Bible really is. Jeff, the Bible is alive. It has power. So when you speak that power and it's amazing how your mindset can change. I'll give you an example. There was a PR person when I had my magazine who was representing a big, celebrity type ministry leader. I hate to even put that in the same sentence, but that's kind of what it's become, right?
Sure.
So, and someone who I adore very much, but she called me up and she said, this person wants the rights to all the photos that were taken. And I said, well, that I need to speak to the photographer. Well, let me just tell you. And she started threatening me. And I said, okay. And I hung up the phone. Well, about a few days go by, I still don't have an answer from the photographer. She leaves me this threatening message. I'm talking threatening message on the phone, and leaves this message. And I listen to it. And my first reaction is to react. I'm like, who does this girl think she is? There's an old me, Jeff, that's not very appealing, that can get kind of ghetto maybe. And I was just like, oh my goodness. And the Lord just really convicted my heart. And I went to pick up my kids, and they said, we've been talking today about our battles and who we're fighting and how that the Lord is with us. And it just kind of hit me, wow, I need to think about that. I asked the Lord, I'm like, how do I do this? How do I get past the anger and the hurt and this, and not wanting to respond to this person in an ugly way? And the Lord said, listen to worship. Just go worship. Worship is warfare. And so I did. And you would be surprised how fast your heart changes when you listen to worship. And so as I began to worship, I just began to have a love for this person. Well, make a long story short, I left this really nice message, which is what we do, right? So, and said, I'll have that to you and don't worry, and it's going to be okay. She turns out to be over the entire media conference that I go to every year, has all the power to revoke any of my passes. But I get there to the conference, she runs up to me and says, Michelle, I want you to meet my family. And she tells me, gets me all the VIP passes just because of my response to her. And here's the thing. I found out years later, not long later, that she had lost 3 children before they were born to stillbirth. And I'm sorry, when they were born. And my heart went out to her, and I realized, you don't know what people are going through. And so breakthrough is about a lot of different components, but worship is definitely one of them.
Wow, that's a powerful story. I just got goosebumps. So I went on your YouTube channel. She has dozens and dozens of videos. I found one from a recent conference. Let's go ahead and roll that.
God doesn't talk a lot about leaders in the Bible. He talks about servants. How are we going to serve? I actually had a woman come up to me, and she just said, Thank you for providing a safe place for us. You know, BOSS stands for building, others, sewing, and serving. That was my heart from the beginning. Yes, I'm the leader of this team, but all my job is to serve. Find a way to bring these women together, serve their causes, their organizations, their ministries. And that's been amazing because I've helped them to have a platform for them to really soar in their gifts and to do everything they want to do to fulfill the purpose that God has called on their life. It's been amazing to see this vision come together. It's been something in the works for about 5 years, and to be here among these women, not just among the women who are attending, but the speakers, to see them all connect, to see them walk away with new relationships has been incredible. I pray to God that women are changed. I pray to God that people leave transformed. I pray to God that they leave with new friendships, new relationships that are going to go out and help them and give away what God has given them. And that has been, there's nothing more exciting than that. Here's the thing, you never want to let fear or doubt or insecurities or lack of self-worth to keep you from being a part of something like this. It's always intimidating to walk into a place with a bunch of people, a bunch of women who you think, okay, they have it all together. I don't have it all together. Well, guess what? Nobody has it all together. And that's why you need to be at Shine Like a Boss. You need to go to an event where you can meet women who are willing to collaborate with you, not compete, who are willing to celebrate you and lift you up. That's the kind of environment you need to really be encouraged and become the leader that you were born to be.
Wow, so powerful. I can't wait to go to your next event.
Are you coming?
Well, I have to. Like,
You'll be there
invite.
with my husband. You're there.
I love it.
VIP passes.
All right, you said something earlier in this interview about, be careful about who joins you at the table. And something occurred to me is that we all have negative self-talk. Like, we look in the mirror, we see an imperfection. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's not the people you're surrounding yourself with. Sometimes it's, are you listening to the negative self-talk that we're all guilty of?
Oh, I talk about that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what comes into our mind goes into our heart, comes out, and it touches the world, right? So if you're constantly talking to yourself about fear and about anger and about hatred and jealousy and all the things that can keep you stuck, right? And if you're not letting those things go, and gosh, I have seen this affect people physically, where they've gotten sick, like ill, and it's proven that if you do not let forgiveness is a huge thing. And if you're holding on to jealousy about someone and all those things are coming into your mind every day, what do you think you're going to be putting out there? Why would anybody be attracted to that? Right. And so it's so important that self-talk is positive and filled with the Word of God. And like I said, speaking those things in a way that is going to bring life and not death. I mean, it says in Proverbs, life and death is in the power of the tongue. And it is so true. It's so true.
Beautiful. Michelle, in the 2 minutes we have left, why don't you look into the camera on the left and give some words of encouragement? I mean, it's a brand new year, a chance to be reborn.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. It's a brand new year. I'm excited about that. 2026 is going to be amazing. And I'm just going to share with you a few things that I close with in my book. The battle plan for true breakthrough is simple. It's not about striving. It's not about doing more, being exhausted. It's about soaring. It's about surrender. And when I say surrender, it's surrendering our heart to the Lord, surrendering our heart to be free from the things that keep us bound up, what we talked about earlier. Breakthrough begins with battle cry, a cry of repentance, a cry for mercy. And after that battle cry comes battle prayer. And that's pushing through and saying, you know what, I'm going to believe. So believe for great things for yourself in 2026. God has great things for you. And all you have to do is spend that time praying, persevering, pressing through. That's what breakthrough is all about.
Wow. It's a mic drop moment. Thank you so much. We're going to end with her website, which is MichelleHalversonSpeaker.com. The great Michelle Halverson. Thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.